All right, this is section 8.1, example 1. We're going to consider the graph of the quadratic function, and we're going to use the graph to identify characteristics such as the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the behavior of the graph. We can also talk about the domain and the range of the graph. So we're looking at this parabola right here. The first thing that we can identify about this parabola is the vertex. Here's our vertex right here, right where the direction of our parabola is changing, right at that U. So this vertex point is the point -1, -2. The next thing that we can say is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is this vertical dotted line that we can draw right through the vertex. Since the vertex is in the middle, the axis of symmetry we want to draw right through the middle of the parabola going through the vertex. If you look where this line crosses the x-axis, it's crossing it right here at -1. Therefore, the equation of this line is x equals -1. We always want to write it as an equation because it is a line. So because it's crossing the x-axis, it's x equals, and it's crossing here at -1. So x equals -1. We can also determine the domain. The domain of this function is all real numbers. Because of the arrows going to the left and to the right, that means that any number can be an x in this function. So any number is all real numbers for our domain. Remember, the domain is all the x's. The range is all the y's. So let's look at the y's on this graph. The vertex here is the lowest point on the graph. Every other point is above this vertex. The y of this point is -2. Therefore, our range is y is greater than or equal to -2. We can also talk about the behavior of this graph, and we're going to break this up to talk about the left side, and then we're going to talk about the right side. So on the left side, we're going to use this axis of symmetry to divide our parabola for the left side. So this would be everything where x is less than 1. So if I go to the left, that means that my x is decreasing. But look at how my mouse is moving upward. My y is increasing. So when x is less than -1, y increases as x decreases. Now let's talk about the right side of the parabola. So we're going to go from the vertex to the right. So now since I'm going to the right, my x is increasing. This is x is greater than -1. And my mouse is also going up, so the y is also increasing. So when x is greater than -1, the y increases as the x increases. Let's look at another example, and we're going to listen to Big Ideas do a tutorial on it.
Identify characteristics of the quadratic function and its graph. From the graph, you can see that the vertex is 2, -4, and the axis of symmetry is x equals 2. The function is decreasing when x is less than 2, and the function is increasing when x is greater than 2. The domain is all real numbers. The range is all real numbers greater than or equal to -4. When x is less than 2, y increases as x decreases, and when x is greater than 2, y increases as x increases.